to the next session, which is a very important session, the last session of Elets Agriculture Innovation Summit. The name of the session is Importance of Research, Innovation and New Thinking for the New World Order for the Sustainable Growth of Farm Sector. And for this, again, we have eminent speakers from public sector undertakings in Government of India, agro-tech startups, a company from Israel as well, and also a research institute from Bhopal Indian Institute of Soil Science. And to carry on with this session, I request my colleague, Mr. Sudheer Goutham, Senior Assistant Editor and Bureau Head, Telangana and AP, Elets Technomedia, to join us with other speakers to take forward the session along.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Souvik. On behalf of Elets, I welcome all the eminent speakers who have joined us for this very important session in this today's Agriculture Innovation Summit. Just to brief you all, we had a very wonderful power-packed session in the morning. One was with the panel speakers from the policy, from the government side, who were from the Ministry of Agriculture and Farming from the Government of India, and also from various other agriculture department like Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat and various other sectors, followed by we had also global collaboration from speakers from various parts of the country, including London, Australia, Israel, and also from United States. So on behalf of the Elets Technomedia, my name is Sudheer Goutham. I'm the Senior Assistant Editor and Bureau Head with Elets Technomedia. So today's session would be focusing on the significance of research innovation in this new order of the world post COVID-19. I would request Dr. Purushottam. Yeah. So moving on, I would request, we are joined by Dr. H. Purushottam, who's the Chairman and Managing Director of National Research Development Corporation. We are also joined by Dr. Manoranjan Mohanty, Principal Scientist, Indian Institute of Soil Science from Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Welcome, Dr. Manoranjan Mohanty.
Thank you so much.
And we are also joined by the Chief Executive Officer of DigiAgri, Mr. Deepak Pareek. Welcome, Mr. Deepak.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for inviting me, organizers. Pleasure to be here.
Welcome. We are also joined by Mr. Nimrod Israely, who is the founder and CEO for Biofeed Green Valley and the Fruit Fly Research Institute. Welcome, Mr. Dr. Nimrod.
Welcome. Great to join you from Israel.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us. And I would request Dr. Hanumantu Purushottam, who is the Chairman and Managing Director for the National Research Development Corporation. Welcome, Dr. Purushottam. Hello. Dr. Purushottam, am I audible to you? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Purushottam, am I audible?
Yes, Sudheer.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Hanumantu. Welcome to this Agriculture Innovation Summit.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Yeah. So we have some excellent speakers for this session. I would start with you. In this time of Corona crisis, where there is said to be a new normal, the post COVID-19. Now, in these times, the significance of research innovation in the new world order. Can you please give your initial remarks about the research innovations? It's significant.
Yeah. At the outset, I would like to thank all my fellow panel members. My name is Dr. Purushottam. I'm currently heading the National Research Development Corporation. an enterprise under the Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. So what we do here is that basically it is a national technology transfer house. Whatever research is being done in the country, in almost all areas of science and technology, including food, agriculture, and energy, all sectors, whatever research is being done in the country, across public funded research laboratories like ICAR, universities, IITs, CSAR labs, DRDO labs. So whatever research is being done and all the intellectual property is generated by them, they are all available to us for transferring to startup companies, SMEs, large companies in India and abroad. So far NRDC has transferred more than 5,000 technologies to various companies. Along with technology transfer, we also help the inventors in protecting the intellectual property. Whatever intellectual property they are creating, we are also protecting them, particularly for academic institutions and research institutions. We do free of cost. All the patent filing costs are borne by NRDC. So this is what basically NRDC does. We have been associated with Elets for quite some time, and it's a wonderful platform. They're doing wonderful work, wonderful job, arranging such kind of events, conferences, on a contemporary issues. That is what is very appealing to me, and I like to associate with them because they always bring discuss such kind of things in a bigger platform, national and international platforms. So I compliment Elets for such a wonderful event, organizing such a wonderful event, and giving an opportunity to interact with all the fellow panel members and all the participants in India and abroad. These are my initial remarks. Subsequently, I will be sharing how we are helping the research innovators and entrepreneurs, startup companies in this country.
Thank you, Dr. Purushottam. Now I would request Dr. Manoranjan Mohanty, who is the principal scientist with the Indian Institute of Soil Science from Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, to please give his initial remarks about the significance of innovation research in this new age of COVID-19.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Before I start talking a few things, I would like to start with this line from our late Prime Minister Pandit Nehruji. Everything can wait, but not agriculture. That we all know. So agriculture was there, it is there, and it will be there forever, because our whole life of us, it depends on it. And particularly for a country like India, where 60 or 70% population depend on agriculture. So when I start talking about, I have thought of two things in my mind actually. I'll make my small presentation of this, means my talk, in two parts. What digitization in agriculture, and next is mechanization. So this is much digitization is very much important because being an Indian Institute of Soil Science, Bhopal, so we are dealing with natural resource management, and soil science and soil health is our first priority. So we have developed many types of maps for measure on micronutrients, and also we are working on digital soil mapping along with National Bureau of Soil Survey and Land Use Planning from Nagpur. So when we have this map, as well as we are also helping the government of India in soil health card mission, and we know that there are maps also available from soil health card, soil test values. So these things, that these things are very helpful, whether it's post-COVID or now also in the COVID period also, because this will help you in planning your resources, how much fertilizer to be used, and what type of land you have, and what type of crop you can take. So this is one important thing, that the digital soil map that should be available to everyone, and they should know what kind of cultivation practices they are going to have in their land. Next is also from NBSSLUP, Nagpur also, they have resource inventory map, they have developed it. And apart from that also, in this present situation, our resources efficiency, is very low, and we need to improve it. And for improving resource efficiency, we need to, adapt a new innovative technologies. That most important one is precision farming, precision agriculture, where we take care of improving our water, nutrient, and all those things, and side by side use of recent advanced technologies like drone technologies for spraying, as well as for our nutrient application. So these technologies actually they improve our water and nutrient application. That means when I say precision agriculture, that means how precisely I am using it to not only I am making my crop fed with enough nutrient, but also I am making it healthy. And by doing so, I am not also polluting the environment. So this type of technologies is really need of the hour, and it's already been started in India, and we need to see that its pace is rapid, and everybody should adapt to this. By when actually we talk about sowing of any crop, actually from sowing to harvesting, actually we go for all types of operations. And in the post-COVID era, when you say that we are distancing, social distance is most important. So agricultural mechanization is most important thing that we to know. So in process of mechanization, so we should have most of the things, when you are distancing ourselves from our workers. So automation is most important thing, and we should have enough mechanized things. We have, in fact, we have institutes under ICAR and in universities. They are working in farm mechanization, in developing farm implements. We have now enough implements. Relatively, we are self-sufficient in that aspect. We can say. So these things actually will be helpful. And this recent, not this has been going on, burning of residues. How to do you have technologies? How to get rid of this issue. So definitely, have technologies developed at ICAR, Indian Institute of Soil Science, Bhopal, also Institute composition of crop residues. Or also we can go for other types of management practices, just like conservation agriculture, where this mechanism is very much important. We can go for such type of techniques where we are having residues at the surface, and we do all the farm operations. And in that case, neither we are burning the residues, or you may go for in situ decomposition. So in conservation agriculture is another important aspect, and mechanized farming that needs to be taken care of. That should be used, and the farmers, and it should be popularized. It's not yet popularized in India. Around 5 billion hectares of India is under conservation agriculture practices. And apart from that, also uh, uh, definitely the protected cultivation for the time being, in the harshness of the climate and climate change, where the temperatures are very high. We need to have such type of protected cultivation for vegetable crops, or maybe some high value crops. That That protected cultivation can be, any poly houses, and that solar irrigation, solar panels. So unused also solar energy on the rooftop, and use that for our agricultural practices and for our poly houses. So combining solar energy with this automation process, and precision agriculture and mechanization, probably we can make our agriculture more wonderful. And by doing so, we'll have our resources like water, nutrient, and energy, and more efficiently we can use it, and that would be helpful in increasing the and production, not only, but also it will take care of the environmental sustainability. So these are a few things I had in my mind, so I share with you. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello, Sudheer, are you there? So I may add, since you're
Yeah.
giving me okay, I will add also a few more things. In recent times, also the apps, the mobile apps, that would be, this type of technology is very much helpful. And so when we are distancing ourselves from others, app will be very much helpful, not to the farmers. So we need to develop more apps for irrigation practices, and even for sowing operations based on our monsoon climate. So the farmers should know by this app when they are going to sow their crops, when there is arrival of monsoon, and they should use it, very often. it's not often, it's always, people they go for the crops. And other mobile apps, is the scheduling of irrigation, that's more important. If they have and they are joined with those institutes and universities to develop with their server, definitely they will be helpful when how much to irrigate and when to irrigate. Definitely in that case also the resource usage efficiency should be very high. And but definitely this type of technologies that are available, they will be helpful to the farmers, really in a better crop production and good agriculture practices. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mohanty. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, very much.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mohanty. Now I would request Dr. Nimrod Israely to please give his initial remarks on the significance of innovation and research in the times of Corona and post-COVID era.
Hello, thanks for the opportunity. Wow, I've been in India since 2016 when my company won the Grand Challenges Israel competition, and we developed a solution for fruit flies of India, mainly Bactocera dorsalis and Bactocera zonata, which destroy about 50% of the mango and other crops yield in India. As a result, I met Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Netanyahu in Israel, and then 6 months later, once again in India. What I found out in the following 3 years, and after nearly 20 trips to India, is that the technology, I believe, although I am a CEO and founder of a technological company, technology is not the problem, I believe, of agriculture in India. This is what I see. And the reason is that today, the business model working in India is not one that can sustain the adaptation of advanced technologies. It is not one because to sustain it, you need to have high income. Indian farmers have low income. How can they buy things? Now, why do they have low income? This is something that I started asking myself. And the more I study, I saw that one, if we take mango growers, for example, which is very high value crop, for one, the price per kilo is very low. It is less than 1/10 of what they can get if they sell it, for example, in Europe. Today, farmers may find themselves selling for 6, 10, 15 rupees. That's not much, not at all. So this is one. They get. You're welcome to interrupt. It's okay. The second thing is the yield. The yield again is very low. For example, Indian farmer would get, let's say, 6 tons per acre, while Israeli farmer would get 5 to 10 times more. For the same crop, for mango, for example, 5 times more is very reasonable. So if you take both numbers, the price per kilo and the yield per acre, you find that the Indian farmer has no chance to compete. He has no chance to get out of poverty. He has no chance to get the best technologies. Not even one that, like the technology of freedom that we have developed, that will reduce the infestation by fruit flies from 50% to practically zero. That is a huge problem, and my belief today is that to make a change, Indian farmers, India, need to work about the entire value chain and see how it can fix it, because today it is broken. And I believe that India will know that the value chain is working well when farmers can finally export freely to the most advantaged and premium markets in the world. Do you want to ask me any question? So I will just add a few more words. You said before the Green Valley. The Green Valley project is actually a model which is complete from the field all the way to the most premium markets. And that is to enable the farmer to have a complete value chain, which he is missing so much, and it is so difficult. It is really suitable for states. So if we have a minister of agriculture or a decision maker in India, this is for you. If you want to advance your farmers, if you want to take them within a few years and jump them 30 years ahead, this is the way forward, through export and through building the entire value chain, which is so hard, so complicated, and this is something that Israel is doing so good. And the approach is not to bring one technology at a time, but the entire package. There is a terrible noise. There is a terrible noise. Oh, now it's better. So this is it for here. If you want to ask me something, I will be delighted.
No, Nimrod, it's awesome what you said. Like, I fully agree with you when you said that in India it's just not about the business. It's just not about the technology. It's also about the business model, and that's very, very important point. I appreciate the work which has been done in past by Dr. Manoranjan and Dr. Purushottam. Sir, we are a big fan of your work, and thanks for what you have done so far for Indian agriculture. Unfortunately, till now, the focus was productivity because the food security was India's biggest challenge. Now, as we evolve from the COVID era, suddenly you'll find that the shift would be on two more P's. So one P is the profitability of the farmers, which definitely is a constraint currently in India. And second is preserving typically your environment. So these two things become very, very critical. And I strongly, as someone who is running a technology company, I strongly believe that the startups would be very, very critical in driving forward the agenda of what India wants to achieve. I little bit disagree with Nomad for you on one part, that actually it's just not about the price points. So if you see in India historically, even sometimes if you have huge productivity gains, still you might not be able to get the right price points. So for example, the mangoes, right? So there are the belts in India where actually the productivity is pretty decent. And I have worked in those areas, but still farmer doesn't get the price. So typically we'll have to start working from the reverse, that is demand-driven agriculture. So that is also what the Prime Minister was talking about very recently. So the first thing which we have to understand is that there are three key technology trends which is happening globally. And those trends are one, digitization. So digitization just not the sake of digitization. Digitization for sake of doing data-driven, fact-driven agriculture. So typically the traceability, typically the transparency in the value chain, typically your precision agriculture, and reducing the usage of your input so that you are able to reduce the cost of cultivation. So the digitization has to have a very, very specific meaning. It cannot be just because, like, I'm having an IT company, a tech company, I just roll out saying that I'll digitize every farmer. But end of the day, we have to understand that digital innovations are just means to achieve specific tasks. And those tasks are profitability and productivity both together, at the same time preserving the environment. The second trend which I am seeing globally happening in agriculture is automation. Now, typically in automation, we have to start understanding what role model we want to take forward. The role models, if we are talking about the countries which are having far less number of farmers or countries which are over optimizing their lands, those won't be the model for us, right? Because we are having close to 800 million, like 8 crore farmers in India. You cannot just push them away. So what we need to do is that we have to have models like from Brazil, where the farm families are very, very critical. The number of farmers is substantial. Still, they are growing substantially far more crop per acre of land in their geography. And they're one of the biggest exporters in the world. So the role models need to be very, very clear when you go for automation. So typically you'll find that what's happening in Brazil. So one thing is that actually the sensor-based automation of irrigation. Now that's something which Brazil has done very, very well, and we'll also have to start doing that sooner than later, because you know that 18 districts are already in water stress this year. Going forward, those are the challenges. So automation has to be very, very specific with the agenda again, as I said. The use of the drones, that's become very, very critical in India, because you are having a smaller farm size. You cannot have the big variable dispensation of fertilizers. So you will start working on those which can work on small and marginal farms, which is typically drones. The third area of technology innovation I strongly believe India needs today is smart packaging. Unfortunately, at the farm gate, packaging is so archaic that the amount of food being lost from the first crop itself is close to 18 to 20%. Now we'll have to start ensuring that we are able to put the geotraceability, we are able to do right packaging, and we are also able to track the movement of those products so that we can understand whether they have been into optimized logistic or not. So I strongly believe India needs these three technical innovation. Now taking a little bit of a worldview, there are two more innovations happening globally. One is when we are talking about a smart city. COVID has told us that smart city is not just with an IT infrastructure; it is a city which can be food sufficient. So if we take example of, for example, Tokyo, with the amount of smart vertical farms they are having within the city, they were able to take care of even the breaking of the supply chain. In India also, we are having mega cities like Delhi and Mumbai, where we found that the supply chain got broken because of the lockdown, the labor were not available, the logistic providers were not there. So we'll have to start understanding that our big cities need to procure at least 60% of their perishable from within the periphery of 40 to 30, 30 to 40 kilometers. And that will ensure, that will need, we invest more in the vertical farms and the controlled farming within the city, typically periphery. And the last technology which I strongly believe we need to think about is when we talk about the artificial meat. So typically we as a nation, we produce a lot of crops which are good ingredients for creating artificial meat. And artificial meat is far more sustainable than the red meat which we talk about. And globally also you'll find that most of the biggest funding in past 1 year has happened in artificial meat. So these are, I say that my 5 takes on where the technology in India should be going towards. Floor is for you, the moderator.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Deepak, for wonderfully taking us to the various technologies that are in use now and are of the need of the hour. Just to inform all the panelists, we are joined by one of the eminent speakers and an innovative administrative of our country. Many might know him if they have followed the social series of a national television series by Amir Khan, that is Satyamev Jayate. Dr. B. Janardhan Reddy, he is known for his innovative approach towards administration, and he's well known for the waste management and cleanliness. Welcome, Dr. B. Janardhan Reddy, to this live interaction.
Yeah. Good afternoon to all of you. Sudheer.
Thank you, Dr. B. Reddy. Dr. Janardhan Reddy is the Agriculture Production Commissioner, as well as he's the Secretary for the Department of Agriculture and also the cooperation with the government of Telangana. Just to inform you all, the Telangana is now the rice bowl and the seed bowl of the country. So I would request Dr. B. Janardhan Reddy to please give his remarks towards the significance of innovation and research towards in this time of COVID crisis.
Oh, thank you, Sudheer, and all the participants. And good afternoon, Nimrod, Israely, and Dr. M. Mohanty. I am able to see, and Deepak, and I think, yeah. So,
I think we have lost him. Sudheer? Sudheer,
Yes,
are you
we
there?
did.
Sudheer?
Now he's back.
Yeah. Am I audible, Sudheer?
Yes, sir, you are. Yes, sir, you are.
Oh, then good afternoon to all of you. In fact, right from the morning, 10:30, we had been participating in an emergency state level bankers committee meeting, where after COVID situation or during this COVID situation, what innovative mechanisms the financial institutions can take. For example, in pre-harvesting
Dr. Reddy, the sound is not going through.
Yes, sir, maybe you can try to
and
mute,
post
to
harvesting
remove
and
your
a
video,
state of
because we are
I
not
think
audible.
one of
I
the
think we're
progress
having
state
I
with a
think
lot of now
we're having
one
some
of the
problems
surplus
with
is we
Dr.
are
Reddy.
surplus in cotton, and
I
we are
think
surplus in fruits, and we are surplus in half a dozen of vegetables, and now more maize.
I think there's some problem with Dr. Reddy's audio. I think maybe the internet connection. Well, we have to live with the reality of technological faults. That's also part and parcel of life, and I think it's all about fixing the loopholes in technological automation, as Deepak was saying that automation and global trends and everything. So that is also a learning, I guess. So if I may go to Dr. Nimrod Israeli, who has joined us from Israel, that in terms of exchange of technology and innovation, what is your opinion? What, according to you, is that how much governments world over, or how much people to people connect or community to community connect can help in terms of exchange of knowledge of technology or innovation, especially keeping in mind the post-COVID era scenario for the growth of farm sector?
Well, I think that post-COVID is an opportunity to focus on agriculture and to take it to the 21st century. It should have been done a long time ago in India. The government should step in much, much stronger, I believe. The government should enable to show models that are working. And what I believe that India will benefit a lot if the Indian farmers can have a working model in India that they can see, not constrained to the lab or to a small area, but a large area, a working model. This is something that only if you do it in India, only if they can see, the farmers can see, farmers can follow, can copy. This is something that will work. I also believe that regardless the COVID-19, if you look at the rate of number of farmers in India, let's say that roughly it is 50% of the population is working in agriculture. Am I right?
Right.
Yes. So, do you know what is the percentage of farmers in Israel? Do you want to guess? Make a guess.
Anyone want to guess?
Anyone? Please. 30%, 10%, 1%, 60%. How many?
1%.
1%. So it is closer to 0.1%. 0.1%. And actually, farmers are producing more than we need. We export a lot, as you know. And I believe that sooner or later, and better sooner than later, India will have to make that change. Will have to. The numbers will have to go from 50% down to 5%. How do you do it? Well, again, you have examples today from other countries. Israel and myself will be happy to contribute and to help doing it. India will benefit a lot if many people will move to other industries, if farmers will make much more money, increase the income, and that is by transferring from what we call agriculture to what I call agribusiness. Today, there are no farmers in Israel. There are business people who work in farming. They produce, just like a factory, 10 times more than anyone else. The Israeli cow is producing much more than any cow in the world. This is why we don't need so many cows, which is also good for the environment, but also to the farmers.
I would like to interrupt Dr. Nimrod here because I will because very interesting things you have said. I think if Dr. Reddy is here, he can answer to that. Dr. Reddy, Shavik here from
Yes.
Elets, what Dr. Nimrod Israeli from Israel just said, that can we think of shifting to a model where we can talk about agriculture to agribusiness more?
Certainly, I cannot agree less than 100% with Mr. Nirmod. In fact, I had been to Israel, and whenever I talk about agriculture and I compare Indian agriculture with Israel, I always to refer exactly this. And a cow in Israel cannot give less than 40 liters and stay there. And in India, 40 cows give sometimes 1 liter of milk. So that's why I was talking about increasing the productivity, converting agriculture into a business model. Agriculture should not be a losing model. So merely because more number of people are participating in agriculture does not mean that it cannot be made profitable and cost effective, labor effective, and it certainly, as shown by the Israel, since he gave the multiple choices like 1%, 50%, 60%. He didn't say less than one. Otherwise, I would have chosen that that figure. So Israel, it is less than 1%. He said 0.1% are doing, and the productivity is one of the highest. I'll take it cow, take it agriculture, take it horticulture. Certainly, we need to learn a lot from Israel, either soil conservation or water conservation, and it is one of the lowest rain receiving countries in the world, and still the productivity is so high. It is quite impressive, and I feel I fully agree with him. There is a need to increase the productivity by going to the scientific methods of soil testing, application of optimum fertilizers, and ensuring optimum water utilization, and ensuring proper harvesting using technology, etc., and avoiding post harvest losses, and then adding value. above all adding value, and then ensuring that whatever is produced excess, if you add value and if you ensure that it is to the national and international standards, it is possible to export, etc. I really congratulate and agree with Israeli.
I'll just take 1 minute of Dr. Reddy, and I'll ask him before I go to other panelists for their concluding remark. Dr. Reddy, in terms of government of Telangana, how do you think, or what are the future plans for state government to redefine the agro sector in post-COVID era? If you can tell.
In fact, it has coincided with our agriculture revolution in Telangana with the post-COVID, and in fact, we are moving from deficit state to surplus state. Just now, I was trying to quote in the beginning. Number one, and also we are going to embrace all the technologies, digitization, etc. Because all our transfers, whether it is investment subsidy, or it is help to the farmers, or help towards debt waiver, etc. We all make the digital payments. And in fact, we will also use digitization, we will also use mechanization, and we will also optimize the resources to be spent by the private and the government agencies and agriculture, and we will try to reduce the cost per acre. And in fact, now there is no deficit. 24/7 power supply is there, quality power supply, and we have abundant water also now available. And we are slowly moving from totally monsoon dependent economy, agri economy, to independent. In that sense, we were lot of live rivers like Krishna and Godavari pass through this state, and we are harnessing the surplus water which otherwise would have flown into Bay of Bengal every year. So Godavari is fully exploited to the advantage of Telangana cultivation. Almost 40 lakh acres cultivated in cultivation. 4 million acres has been added in last 4-5 years, and we are on the path to add more than 1 million acres this particular year also. So more land is coming to the cultivation, number one, and more technology is being used, and more attention is paid by the government for this particular sector. Slowly, we are emerging as the surplus state in many of the crops, like whether paddy or maize or cotton and pulses, etc., and oilseeds. We are competing with Punjab like grain bowl of India. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Reddy. I'll come to Dr. Purushottam. If I may ask you your concluding remark about the importance of research and innovation for agro sector. If you can just tell us in 2-3 minutes. Dr. Purushottam, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm able to hear you, but I think, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, my question to you is that if you can just summarize in 2-3 minutes, where do you see the research and innovation in agro sector going more and more in future in post-COVID era? If you can conclude in 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Souvik, for giving me this opportunity. And as mentioned by my other senior panel members, I do agree, without research innovation, this agriculture sector, the scales cannot be achieved. Somehow we have achieved the food security and the milk security and all other securities. But I think in the time to come, particularly post-COVID, I think we need to have a separate and new strategy to meet the requirements of the globe. It is only possible through research and innovation. As it has been mentioned, we need to focus more on digital technologies, automation technologies, because the way we are going to live post-COVID is transforming because of this social distancing and other threats involved. In absence of a vaccine or a drug to control the corona, definitely the science, technology, innovation will play a major role, and we need to have more interactions and more networking particularly through digital means, digital platforms, and facilitating this knowledge transfer. That is very, very important. We need to really think and come out how we should survive and how we should get connected and how we should take these innovations to the marketplace or the consumer place. It is really
Right.
very challenging time, and it needs to be evolved. I can't really give this is a solution, or one solution doesn't fit all. We all need to deliberate and come out with a suitable solution. That is what my comment at this point of time.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. H. Purushottam, CMD, National Research Development Corporation. Quickly, I'll go to Dr. Manoranjan Mohanty. Mr. Mohanty, 1 minute for you. Where do you see research and innovation going for the growth
Yes.
of farm?
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. I would like to add a few lines to what Dr. Israeli said. How to make farming into business. For that, actually, you need to boost the rural economy. Maybe we need to have certain agro-processing unit or micro business centers or small business centers there, so that maybe agro-processing unit, maybe storage unit, maybe some other enterprises that will help agriculture, so that the rural economy will, improve, and the youth, they take farming as business. So coming to research and innovation, definitely yes. What Dr. Purushottam already said, and Mr. Deepak, and others also talking about it, Janardhan, sir. So I feel yes, being it ICAR and the different in ICAR, they have developed a large number of technologies. Still, some of them are not in field now. So even those technologies, they are very much useful to the farmers, and that needs to be on with farmers. And if they utilize those technology also, whether it's pre-COVID era or post-COVID era, they are always good for the farmers. I'll give one example now. Actually, one variety of moong,
If you
black
don't
gram,
mind,
that was
Dr.
developed by
Mohanty,
Indian.
if you don't mind, Dr. Mohanty, we're really running out of time. We
Yes.
just have 2 minutes with us. I'll go to Dr. Nimrod Israeli.
Yes,
Dr.
just
Israeli.
one line I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So should I continue one line?
Yeah, please.
So that variety is very much useful now in summer moong cultivation. That's what actually I mean to say. Research and innovations, they have tremendous impact in agriculture sector. Definitely, yes.
Right. Dr. Nimrod Israeli, just one line.
Thank you.
We have 1 minute for you, Dr. Israeli.
Okay. So
Future.
I would say that innovation is required in 3 fields. One is the technological field, which is obvious. The second is the business field, which is more a business model that we need to renew and innovate. And the third is the government, which again needs to rethink about things. And just for example, my company, which invested 3 years trying to get to India, today is outside India because we did not manage to go through bureaucracy. So there is so much to do, which on one hand is not good. On the other hand, anything that will be done will take India so far forward, such a big jump, and I see it as something very positive.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nimrod. Deepak, Pareek, your end note, where do you see the agrotech going? Maybe 5 years down the line, post-COVID era?
Yeah, I would just try to be as short as possible. So very recently, a government from Africa, they approached me to help them give consulting for digital transformation agriculture in their country. So I was surprised with their preparation, and I asked them, who is behind this? Is your prime minister or your bureaucracy? They said, none of the above, COVID. So this is what the ground reality today is. We'll see agriculture being digitized, whether we like it or not, whether businesses like or not, or government like it or not. COVID has pushed it to the scenario that we don't have options. So I thank all the panelists, and everybody has contributed. Awesome. And believe me, as an Indian, I would say I'm proud of what our scientists, our organizations have done in past. Yes, the goalpost has changed. Food security was a challenge. We solved it. now the profitability and perseverance of the environment also will take care of it. We are pretty ourselves capable of doing that. That's my hand notes.
Oh, thank you. I just now I just take 1 minute to end this panel, taking cue from what Deepak has said, that no government, no bureaucracy, only COVID has pushed other governments to come up with new set of solutions. And as we know that uh, invention of mother of necessity, and we know in 1600 the best of the innovation thoughts came out of Newton during the quarantine when this plague was going on. And I think COVID has pushed us all to that level where we'll come up with new innovation to the new era of agro sector. And as Dr. Nimrod was saying, that we have to think about agro business model rather than agriculture per se. I think there are challenges, but I think this challenge will be taken as opportunity for the overall growth of farm sector, not only in India, but around the globe. Thank you, Dr. Nimrod Israely, Dr. M. Mohanty, Deepak Pareek, Dr. Hanumant Purushottam for joining us, and Dr. B. Janardhan Reddy for joining us in the last session of Elets Agriculture Virtual Summit, which was aimed at creating a platform where stakeholders from bureaucracy, from agrotech aggregator, from academia, from research organization, from global companies can come together, brainstorm to various aspects of agriculture, farm growth, so that things can be moved forward. And this crux of these sessions will be documented by Elets Technomedia as a event report, and which will be circulated to all the stakeholders, both in government and private sector, and also to research institutes, so that we use the useful information deliberated in this conference, which can impact lives and ignite mind. Thank you so much. See you on the other side of Elets webinars and Elets virtual summit. Thank you so much. Namaskar. Bye. Take care. Stay home. Stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Thank you
Thank you very much.
Bye.